got 3 freaky true Halloween horror stories animated. All right, let's check it out. Let's check it out. You know, we usually watch these, so it should be good or somewhat interesting. Happy Halloween, happy Halloween, happy Halloween, everybody. The following stories were based on true story, you know. Trunk or treat, trunk or treat, trunk or treat. Let's see, trunk or treat. Let's see.
When I was old enough to go trick-or-treating by myself, my family started making me take my cousin with me. She was a girl and a few years younger, so it made sense to keep her safe. I didn't mind it as she and I were pretty close. In a way, it was kind of a tradition. My parents would take me over to my cousin's house, then we'd get our costumes on, which were usually matching. I didn't mind that either. Matching costumes always got more candy, and that's all I really cared about. One year, I dressed as Chucky, and my cousin was the bride of Chucky. We started around sunset, first going around the block to hit our neighbors' houses. Then we began to walk to the wealthier area where the bigger houses were. It was almost a mile of solid trick-or-treating between her house and that area, so by the time we arrived, we milked that area for everything it had, not turning back until people were turning off their porch lights. Then, it was time for the long walk back home. At this point, our bags were full, and it became quite dark.
So
At some point, we saw a car parked on the curb ahead, with a guy standing outside of it. The trunk was open, and he was pulling fistfuls of candy out of it, shoving them into the faces of trick-or-treaters who were walking by him, but they wouldn't take anything. There's no secret as to why either. The guy was creepy as hell, tall and built, but also old and sketchy looking. He started eyeing us before we even got close. My little cousin made it clear she wanted none of what he was giving out, so I made sure she stood by me, as there was no way to go but past him. As we approached, he smiled, waving candy in our faces.
Hey, lovebirds, want some free candy?
One thing it is a way is a motherfucker way past him. You probably ain't gotta walk. Shit. If you gotta bump that left to turn, or do a U-E, or go through the alley, or jump a fence, as long as you gotta get away from him, do it. Whenever you see niggas out here trying to give candy out the back of their trunk, matter of fact, report them. Sock they ass. For real, for real.
Yeah, no thanks. And also, we're cousins.
Why should that stop you?
We walked past him, but he wouldn't take his eyes off of us. He even started following us, getting right up behind my cousin. I could tell she was freaking out on the inside and trying to keep it together, so I stepped in before he went any further.
Come on, have a kiss.
Back off! What's your problem?
My problem is I've got a boatload of candy and nobody wants to take any. At this point, you can just have it all. I just want one little thing in return.
Leave us alone or I'm calling the cops!
Go on, run home like the little pussy you are.
About 30
A grown man saying that to a kid is outrageous. I'm sure he didn't actually say that, but that would be crazy if he did.
feet from his car, the man stopped following us, but we kept walking away as fast as we could. The farther we went, the fewer people were out on the street. I thought about knocking on someone's door and asking for help, but I just wanted to get home. Before I knew it, we were the only ones out, except for one singular car driving behind us. It wasn't driving though, it was cruising, barely faster than our walking pace. Looking over my shoulder, I couldn't see inside because the windows were tinted, but it seemed like the same car that creep was standing outside of. My cousin was also aware of the car, and she was starting to panic. I decided to take a random right turn, hoping the car would just drive past, but it didn't. It took the same turn. That's when I knew for sure we were being followed, and there was nobody else it could be but that same creep. The car was basically driving right beside us at this point, matching our speed. I didn't know what to do. I then heard the car park right behind us. We were too scared to look back at that moment. Maybe he had just arrived at his house and was going inside. Suddenly, I got slammed in the back. I saw the man carrying my cousin over his shoulder.
No, he didn't.
I went into fight or flight and ran over to do whatever I could to stop him.
Help me! Stop him, please!
Let her go! Let her go! Somebody help me! Get lost, kid!
It happened so fast. By the time I caught up, he was already opening the back seat and throwing her inside the car. I hit him as hard as I could again and again, but he was unfazed. He then turned back and shoved the side of my face, sending me flying on the concrete once again, then through the veins of my own eyes. I saw the car driving away. There wasn't even a license plate for me to try and read. As I came to, I looked around in disbelief. I was surrounded by a horde of spilled candy, alone on the empty street, and my little cousin had vanished. I freaked out, crying and screaming for help. I banged on doors until somebody answered and called the cops for me. The police came, then our parents, then the whole damn neighborhood. Everybody went looking for my cousin. There was an entire manhunt, and yet they never found a trace of my cousin or the man that kidnapped her.
Well, learning lesson. Please, please, please have some type of adult supervision around them kids when they trick or treating, man. Cause motherfuckers like this, it's really motherfuckers out here like this plotting. It's like soon as like Halloween come, it's like a nigga's plotting. Like, ooh, I couldn't wait for this moment. I finally got the kids are gonna be out. Yeah, it's weirdos like that. It's weirdos like that on Earth. So soon as Halloween hit, watch your kids. Put some teenage protection on them, whoever around. Some younger folks, whoever go be out there anyway. Shit. I was finna say give them a weapon, but I don't want to say that. But in some cases, yeah. Or at least, you know, shit. Really just don't have them alone, regardless of what. If your kids is trick-or-treating, I don't care if they trick-or-treating on the same block you love and it's been your favorite block of all time. Y'all grew up here for years, nothing ever happened. Protect your kids. Go with your kids. Don't trust these motherfuckers. Facts.
It's been years since that night, and my cousin has been missing ever since. Whether she's still alive or not, I can't imagine how much she suffered. Every Halloween, I have nightmares reliving the entire thing over and over. People always tell me I did everything I could, but it still feels impossible not to blame myself for what happened. This story was inspired by several Halloween Reddit posts that involved the attempted kidnapping of trick-or-treaters, trick-or-treating from someone's trunk of their vehicle. The term is called trunk kidnapping, which refers to being forced into a car's trunk. The term is also known as trunk-or-treating, a Halloween alternative where candy is given out from the car's trunk. This is a common Halloween tradition where children go to decorated cars in a parking lot and get candy from the trunk, instead of the traditional trick-or-treating from door to door. Some believe it is considered a safe alternative to trick-or-treating because it avoids the street crime and danger. However, others argue that trunk-or-treating is far more dangerous due to the
I'm gonna just say this right now. Whoever is agreeing that going to walk up to people's cars to trick-or-treat is less dangerous than trick-or-treating regularly. I mean, you are walking up to somebody's house, which is considerably the same thing. They could pull your ass inside. But a car? Nah. Whoever made trunk-or-treating, I'm probably damn for sure that they made it just for that. They made it just to grab up some kids. Because how does that even make sense? That's not safer at all. That don't even make sense to be safer. But, all right.
The trick-or-treaters being more susceptible to being forced into a car's trunk
How does that
and
make
ultimately kidnapped.
Like, and then you took to a house that don't nobody know where you at. Like, yeah, I don't know. Oh, the real Pennywise Halloween accident. Hold on. Let's see.
Several years ago, I took my grandson trick-or-treating. He has special needs, so I often help my daughter and her husband take care of him. He spends a lot of time at my place during the week when his parents are working, so I usually took him out for Halloween. We left the house around the evening time when everyone had their pumpkins lit up and porch lights on, ready to give out candy to trick-or-treaters. As we made our way through the neighborhood, It seemed like people were devoting much more effort and technology to their Halloween costumes and decorations than I could ever recall. My grandson loved it though. He was always
It's like the Iron Man, and then it's like literally that one kid who just like cut some shit up, but it's like it's decent. But it always got to be something scary. Like, don't nobody really make nothing good. Like, when they make some shit, it don't never be like good. Like, you don't see nobody making a good costume. They always like creating some scary, like, what the fuck am I finna see ass shit type shit. Or it could be some simpler shit back in the day, I swear. Motherfuckers in the trenches, I swear to God, when you ain't got nothing, you gonna make a costume out of anything. Shit. I was a ninja for 7 years. I ain't gonna lie, so I can't really say nothing. I think I should talk less on Halloween costumes because I actually have proof. Probably not 7 years, but I was a ninja for like 5 years. Like, I don't know why, but for 5 years straight, I wanted to be a ninja. Sync. Was good.
thrilled with how much candy he was getting. Everything was fine until we came across one particular house
Fuck no. Nah, I'm straight. I'm cool on that.
than I could ever recall. My grandson loved it though. He was always thrilled with how much candy he was getting. Everything was fine until we came across one particular house. The light was off, and there wasn't a bowl of candy on the porch. There also wasn't a single decoration on the house, except for one. A life-size prop of that ungodly Pennywise the Clown. It was sitting on the ground, leaned up against a tree in the front yard, with a beer bottle in its hand and its head slumped over like it had passed out drunk. Something about it was off. I couldn't tell if it was real or fake from how realistic, yet still, it was. Despite my feelings towards it, my grandson, like most kids, thought it was cool and wanted a video with it. I didn't want to dampen his mood, so I obliged, but made sure to tell him not to touch it. He sat beside the clown as I crouched next to him. Then I took a selfie video.
Go on, say hi.
Hi.
Anything else you want to say to Pennywise?
I guess you'll float too?
All right, this thing is creepy. Let's get out of here.
I'm be honest. I can name a lot of regular scary movies, but when it really go by characters, I still feel like today that the old It was scarier than the new It. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like the times, but they made him like so scary back then. Like, he's different. Like the new It, yeah, I'll probably say the new It probably got more of the horror because he can do more of the horror with the VFX and all the stuff they got. But I really say the old It was funnier and more scary. That's why he was more scary, because he was like more funnier, didn't care. But I'm gonna search that up later though. I'm gonna check that out later. I'm gonna search that up. I ain't even know nothing about that. I ain't heard. You must be talking about a new movie or something, because ain't no way you talking about the. Actually, I think I probably did see something like that though, but I ain't getting on it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm probably should clip this and zoom in on the what you asked and see what my Instagram talking about, what they get on that shit, because I ain't getting on that shit.
Immediately after the video was taken, we got the hell away from that thing. But as we were walking away, I noticed something that still sends chills down my spine. I noticed the clown was still staring at us on the video camera. That's when I put the phone down and turned around, only to see the clown's head now up and staring right at us. Its eyes were very much human, and I knew then that it was never a prop, but a costume with a person inside. Before my grandson could catch on, I picked up the pace and got us walking away as fast as I could without making him concerned. Once we'd gone past a few houses, I glanced over my shoulder again and saw the clown now standing on the sidewalk in front of that same house. Suddenly, the entire neighborhood started shutting down all around us. People were running out of candy and turning off their porch lights everywhere. The trick-or-treaters and their parents were all going home. It was getting dark as hell, and that clown was walking behind us, keeping his distance just a few blocks away. I was freaking out, but I had to keep my cool. I told my grandson that trick-or-treating was over and that we had to get.
Grandma, you gotta keep your blick. Grandma, I get you want to take a little grandson out trick-or-treating. But as I was saying from the story before, I think Halloween is one of the most like weirdo nights, I call it, like for weirdos to come out, like, cause you don't know who's who. They got masks on, all that type of shit. Like, grandma, you need a blick, cause you don't know who is who on Halloween. You don't know who could be type shit. So you gotta be on your P's and Q's, or at least stand in there. See, I can't even say that, cause even in the safest neighborhoods, you assume they're getting took to. So it don't even matter. It don't matter where it is, where it's at. Just be protected at all times. And on Halloween, keep your eyes open.
We power walked through the neighborhood, turning at corners and weaving through yards, just trying to get away from the clown. Eventually, I lost sight of him, so it seemed safe enough to stop and catch our breath. I could finally call an Uber. As long as we could make it in 5 minutes for them to arrive, we would be fine. I kept a lookout as we stood on the corner, checking my phone every few seconds to see when the car would get to us. For what felt like 5 minutes, felt like 5 hours, as me and my grandson stood there waiting in constant fear that the clown would show up and attack us.
Help! Help me!
Out of nowhere, the clown grabbed my grandson and pulled him away from me. I rushed to help, trying to tear them apart, but there was so little that I could do.
Get off of him, you maniac!
Get the fuck off me before I rip your head off your shoulders!
Please!
Trick or treat, little boy. I don't want anything from you.
Here,
Have a drink. Get away from me! Help me!
For a moment, I thought I'd broken something in the fall, but I was okay. When I got to my feet, however, my grandson was on the floor not moving, and I could see that clown running off. Thankfully, he only suffered minor injuries, and the clown was soon arrested by the police. He turned
bro, was this in 2016 when all those weird ass cops was like outside or something? Like, was this 2016? Cause I mean, I said cops, clowns was outside in 2016. Was this the 2016 clowns or something like that? Because this is like, for one, I'm not saying like, cause you, I mean, well, I can't even say that, cause I think a scary clown is the main weirdo thing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this: if it's weirdos outside on Halloween, they're in clown suits. They're in clown suits. You cannot trust a nigga who go outside on Halloween with a it costume. Guaranteed. If it got anything to do with clowns, it's a weirdo under it. I don't even care at this point. Matter of fact, we just gotta label all clown costumes as weirdo costumes. That's the only way to really fix the problem. If you're wearing a clown costume, you're wearing a weirdo costume. You cannot wear it. You cannot wear the old it. You cannot wear the old clowns from the old movies. You can't wear nothing like that. Just take clowns out of... What holiday is for a clown? What holiday is for a clown anyway? We got to get to that point. A clown shouldn't even be for Halloween. There should be a holiday for a clown, and there ain't even one. So why do we got him in Halloween? It don't make sense.
turned out to be a man named Matthew Davies. He had a family of his own, but he'd spent years away from them while in prison for drug charges. I can't understand how a man with children of his own could possibly attack us the way he did. What made things worse was how my grandson has special needs. Mr. Davies was sent to prison where he belongs, but it doesn't undo what happened. My grandson and I are traumatized. His love for Halloween is forever tainted, and every time I see a Pennywise mask, I'm transported right back to that awful night. This story was inspired by a very creepy incident regarding a 41-year-old stock.
If this is dude, they should have shot him right in the streets. They should have shot him without asking him if he was a regular clown for Halloween, or if he was a scary clown for Halloween, or if he was taking kids for Halloween. They should have shot him. That is too scary to not shoot. In my eyes. Like, you can't look at that and be walking around on Halloween and not shoot that. That don't look too good.
Man who was placed under arrest for a Halloween night attack on a family of trick-or-treaters that sent a man to the hospital. Stockton police say a man named Matthew Davies was wearing a Pennywise clown mask as he carried out the attack. Mary Elis was there as Davies allegedly began harassing her special needs grandson. Davies then attacked her son, breaking a bottle over his head. Davies was featured on CBS News in
I don't know how many years this nigga got, but give him a couple more just for us. So, look, can't even talk. Just for us realizing that he did this shit. This nigga need more years for our traumatization of even hearing that he swung a bottle at a kid. You're a grown-ass man, and you need a weapon for a kid anyway. Even though that's not even the point, but it's like the fact that you'll go to that extent, they should stone you. Yeah.
2013 with his own family. The report aired before Davies was convicted of violating drug laws in Stockton. He served several years in federal prison.
In GTA.
Illis says she can't fathom why
They should do that in
Davies,
GTA.
a father himself, would try to scare her grandson on Halloween. I don't understand why he wouldn't stop when we begged him to stop. He was scaring our grandson that has special needs. A self-professed family man, out of prison after a federal drug conviction, has now been booked into jail accused of a violent crime. Stockton police say they tracked Davies down using witness statements. He bailed out of jail Friday afternoon following his arrest in the morning. He is facing
How do I?
a felony charge of assault with a deadly weapon. His arrest in the morning. He is facing understand why he wouldn't stop when we begged him to stop. He was scaring our grandson that has special needs.
Damn.
A self-professed family man, out of prison after a federal drug
Just look at his
conviction,
face, just look at
has
his
now
face, it's
been
gonna be
booked
like in
into
the
jail
bottom.
accused of a violent crime. Stockton police say they tracked Davies down using witness
Look
statements.
at the bottom.
He bailed out of jail Friday afternoon following his arrest in
You
the
can't tell
morning.
me that's not
He is
scary as
facing a
fuck.
felony charge of assault with a deadly weapon.
Number three. The Halloween Strangers. Uh-oh, Mike.
A few years ago, my wife and I moved into our first house together. Neither of us had ever owned a home before, so it was a major moment in our lives. It's a small house, but the neighborhood is very friendly. Even though we haven't had kids yet, we were excited to start a family of our own. But something happened this Halloween that's made us think twice about raising our children here. Of course, most of the trick-or-treaters are young kids, so Halloween in our neighborhood comes to an end pretty early. By 9 o'clock, everybody goes home. This year was just like that. By 8:45, we weren't seeing any more trick-or-treaters, so we went inside and turned off our light, so nobody bothers us as we got closer to bed. Afterwards, my wife wanted to stay upstairs and read for a little while, but I had some stuff to work on in the basement while I had the chance. However, at around 9:30 p.m., something strange happened. What the hell? It struck me as odd, but I wasn't going all the way up there to tell them that we weren't giving out candy anymore, so I ignored.
I don't think that's strange on Halloween to get a doorbell at any time. See, that's why I say Halloween is very scary, because it's like the things you assume that is scary, you're not looking at them like that. Like, you're looking at it like jokes at this point. Like, if you literally seen somebody with a Michael Myers fit on Halloween standing across the street with a real knife, you're not going to be fully scared. You're going to be Halloween scared. You see somebody on a regular Tuesday with a Michael Myers fit on, holding a knife across the street, you running. You running. Guaranteed. You're not even gonna be like, damn, this could be some fun in there. Nah, you running. See, on Halloween, you might be like, hell no, motherfucker. And then start getting there like, hell no, wait, this motherfucker, hell no, wait, this motherfucker, hell no, wait, this motherfucker. You might have one of those. But shit, regular Tuesday, you, shit.
Annoyingly, though, the doorbell rang again. A few more times, actually. Now, it was just rude. It was like some dumbass kids were playing ding-dong ditch with us, something that usually happens on Halloween. I heard my wife get up and start walking along the floor over my head, so I figured she was going to take care of it. Nothing a grown lady like her couldn't resolve. But what I heard next, I never expected.
Get on the floor! Now! Hurry up!
As soon as the door opened, I heard screaming. Men were shouting, and my wife was yelling at them to get out. For a moment, I couldn't believe it, but then I heard her get dropped to the floor. I immediately jumped out of my chair and turned to the stairs, only to face the biggest shock of my life. The moment I got to my feet, I heard an explosion from upstairs. That same instant, a hole blew open in the ceiling above me, and a red-hot piece of metal whizzed by my head. That moment changed me. Time froze, and for a split second, so much went through my head. I was looking up at the stairs, thinking, I'm going to die if I go up there, but they'll kill my wife if I don't. I was terrified, almost too scared to move, but I realized it was time to keep the promises I had made, to become the husband, the father I said I would be. I took a deep breath. Then I started making my way up the stairs. I knew I had the jump on them, so I went as fast as I could while not.
I know this nigga don't want to be Superman, but bruh, it's time to be Superman. They might flag your ass down. But in this situation, you can't leave your wife up there hanging with 3 gunmen. Now, if she was like Kill Bill, Columbiana, the Harriet movie where Harriet was blasting shit. What else? Mrs. Smith. What else? You know, yeah, if she just ain't somebody like that, then yeah, you know, go up there, man. You know, yeah, because if anything, I got to do both of y'all bogus at that point. That's what you got married for. I ain't gonna lie.
Being loud enough that they could hear me coming up. I could still hear fighting coming from the front door. Then I came around the corner and saw them. There were 2 men, both with masks, one of them wearing all red, and the other in a Scream ghost mask. The one with the ghost face was keeping my wife pinned to the floor. The other one was just standing there.
Get off me, you son of a bitch!
Give it up already. I want jewelry, cash, whatever, but I'm not leaving empty-handed. You hear me?
Eat shit and die slow, motherfucker.
I said shut up, didn't I?
I ran at the ghost face. He turned around right before I tackled him. I put him in a headlock and started choking him, ready to kill him. He was flailing around, trying to point the cannon at my head, but he was fading, unable to do anything. He was gonna be mine. But then his partner came up and kicked me off him. I kept my grip on that bastard though. They had to hit me 2 more times before I couldn't hold on to him anymore. Then his partner yanked him to his feet. I started to scramble up to chase them out before he could aim at us again. I could barely see through the dirt and swelling, so I was just running at their voices. I eventually got out of breath and stopped. Then I wiped my eyes and realized I'd chased them out into the street. By the time I could see though, they were long gone. With them dealt with, I went back inside to my wife. When the men attacked her, they left her with a few cuts and bruises. There was blood running all down her face, but she was awake and calling my name. I apologized for taking so long to get to her. I wish I'd been there from the start, so she wouldn't have had to gone through any
What the fuck?
of what she did.
Nah, breasted on business. I ain't gonna lie. Breasted on business.
I wish I'd been there from the start, so she wouldn't have had to gone through any of what she did. Unfortunately, the men who invaded our home were never found. There was no camera footage, not much evidence, basically no leads whatsoever. But made this all the more disturbing was how the alleged reason for why they targeted us was just completely random. It's sad to say that we no longer feel safe here after what happened on Halloween. We don't want to raise kids in a place where things like this just happen for no reason. It's definitely made us never want to open our door for trick-or-treaters ever again. This story was inspired by a disturbing Halloween incident that happened in Mississauga, Ontario. A family remains in shock following a violent Halloween in Mississauga, Ontario. This story was inspired by a disturbing Halloween incident that happened in Mississauga, Ontario.
I wanted to pause here because I got some Canadian people that I see watching me too. Let me know if this is a big like story or something in Mississauga, Ontario when it happened? Like, was this something big that happened?
A family remains in shock following a violent Halloween home invasion Wednesday night. This is what we get for answering the door on Halloween night. 2 to 4 individuals coming in here and attacking my wife, and this tremendous sound goes off. I was in the basement, said Mississauga homeowner Derek, who did not want to release his last name. Derek's wife opened the door last night to have armed thugs barge into their home. She struggled with them and a shot was fired. Derek heard his wife scream, ran upstairs and saw her on the floor. Peel police say the attack was completely random and that there's no reason why the family would have been targeted. Authorities say at least 2 of the suspects were masked. One in dark clothing wearing a mask from the movie Scream. Another one in red hoodie with a red mask. Some neighbors say they heard knocks on their doors and thought it was suspicious because trick-or-treating would have been over by then. The doorbell rang around 9:30, said it was too late for trick-or-treaters so we didn't answer the door, said neighbor Marco Kuljak. That's a problem with this investigation. We can't tell people not to open their doors for trick-or-treaters.
See, that's what I'm saying. You never know what crazy shit somebody's doing on Halloween because it's too much crazy shit that's kind of allowed already. So you got to watch your shit. You know, you got to watch yourself. You know, you got to watch what's going on, your crib, your kids, your peoples. Because on Halloween, people don't be giving a fuck. They know how sweet it is. No cap.
What people do on Halloween, said police.
W Video Horror Shorts Party.